Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Bangle Magazine. And on the show today, Jerry Boyes, the boss, makes a return appearance. Jerry's going to be talking about the renovation of Houston Gym, a facility that's 50, 60 years old, and it is getting a major facelift. Second up is Kathryn Boughton. You may remember Kathryn from an earlier show from women's soccer. She's back to talk about her 4.0 GPA and the winner of the Chancellors Award here at Buffalo State. And finally, Meg Stevens joins us, the head coach of our women's lacrosse team. She's bringing along Ashley O'Brien. We like to call her OB, the senior goaltender for the Bengals. So stick with us. When we return, we're going to talk Houston Gym and the renovation. Hi everybody, welcome back to Bangle Magazine. Houston Gym is a facility that many of you know. It's been around campus for 50 or 60 years and is getting a major facelift. We've been talking about that throughout the year. And now Jerry Boyes, the athletics director, is here and he's going to tell us we're really close to starting the project. And Jerry, welcome back. Appreciate this. Tell us about where we are right now with Houston Gym. We've been talking about it, but it appears to be ready to go.
Yeah, it sure does, Tom. Obviously, we're very excited about this project. It's currently in the design phase. A firm has been selected, and there's some dialogue has started between that firm and our staff, and also the health and wellness staff that also is in Houston Gym. Really kind of getting an idea of our needs and wants, with the whole intent to bring Houston Gym into the 21st century, you might say, and to provide us with a, I'm going to say a wow facility for us in athletics and for the college campus.
What's the price tag on this? What are we talking about here?
Well, not sure exactly what it is, but they've said it's in the range of $15 to $20 million with the project. So some significant dollars.
And when do we anticipate, give me a little timetable, when do we anticipate actual construction starting and when we can go back in?
Well, if all the planets stay lined up, Tom, we're hoping that this stage and the construction bid stage kind of takes between now and then it'll be 18 months.
Okay.
And then we hope at the end of 18 months the construction starts. And they're anticipating a 2-year construction phase. So that's what it is right now.
Okay. You made an interesting point because right now we've been talking with the architects about our needs, and it's interesting how things have changed from the old Houston Gym days where the school was a phys ed school and there were coaching certificates and teaching for that, and now we're out of that phase and our needs have changed a little bit as we get into now contemporary Division III athletics.
Well, the Houston Gym was built as an athletics facility, and at that time physical education was a part of their degree requirement, 2 credits per semester. That they first suspended that and then eliminated that completely. So now it's primarily an athletics and recreation intramural facility, but it's a classroom facility for our health and wellness department as well. So the whole flow of the building is really what we're looking to change. Back then it was built, I think, with the idea of a men's floor and a women's floor. As you know, things have changed in 50 years. So the major needs are locker rooms, storage space, and offices for coaches and staff. So really looking forward to this project.
That's a fun project, no question about it. What are we looking at here now as our director shoots the first board? Down in the lower right-hand corner is obviously Houston Gym currently. What are we trying to get done here? What is the architect trying to get done with these the new rendering?
Well, keep in mind, too, these are kind of drafts.
Sure, absolutely.
Things that they put out there during the process of selection for the design phase. And this, of course, is coming from campus into Houston Gym, and they want to create an entrance that will be an attractive entrance.
Sure.
Tom, in today recruitment, and whether it be student athletes or students, facilities are really probably the number one thing. That's the book cover, you might say, to our campus and when people come on campus. So facilities are just paramount to the recruitment effort, and you see that going on campus right now with the new science and math, the technology coming, our renovation of the quad, the new dorm. All of those things help recruit.
Right.
And again, that's general student as much as the student athlete. So to have these attractive facilities and to make it so that people, wow,
Correct.
type of, as they see them, is kind of in the forefront, you might say, with what they want to try to accomplish with Houston Gym.
I don't know. I think that's pretty attractive. Don't you, Jerry, down in the bottom right-hand corner? Just kidding. We move to the second board, and this is now up in the top right-hand corner is current Houston Gym. Before you get into the gymnasium, and here the artist is looking to open it up a little bit.
Probably that's the best word, Tom.
Right.
On the right-hand side is Kissinger Pool, the left-hand side is the gymnasium, and what their thoughts are is to try to make it so that there's glass partitions there so that people can look into and see what's going on. At the end of the hallway, which will lead to the next poster board, is really what they're looking to move our current fitness center, which
Correct.
is on the first floor of Houston Gym, up to the second floor. So it looks out on the campus and to expand the size of that as well, which our campus, our side, sorely needs. That our fitness center is, I would say, one of the most used facilities on campus.
Sure.
So it really enhances student life as well with our fitness center.
I think that's important to note that it's an athletic facility, but our students, non-student athletes, utilize especially the fitness center. And I think this rendering goes back to what you were saying, creating more of a contemporary look. And this is what you see on campuses now. You see the fitness center up overlooking the campus with windows, et cetera, et cetera. Right now we're down where the old bowling alley used to be for many of our viewers who know that, and that was one of your initiatives to change that into a fitness center. So this brings into the fitness center into really the 21st century.
It does, Tom. Campuses across the nation for the last really 2 decades have really seen the value of a fitness center, strong recreation and intramural programs on campus, and what it does for the student body, and to make it very visible.
Right.
So this is the attempt to do that.
Now back to our athletics department and specifically teams. This renovation right now, for those who may not know, our teams are kind of all over the place in terms of locker rooms and offices, and that's just a factor of time and new programs, et cetera. What is happening now with the new Houston Gym in terms of what it will mean for teams and locker rooms and spaces?
Well, it'll mean dedicated locker rooms for
Correct.
each sport,
Right.
Tom, and give the student athletes kind of a home away from home, you might say, and create locker rooms so that they're more than just a locker room. It'll be a meeting room space for our coaches to actually meet and go over game films and those types of things in the locker room. So it will be a multi-purpose type of rooms. But right now, almost all of our sports, with the exception of the 2 ice hockey teams, share locker rooms. That's just the way it is.
Right.
So we hope to kind of catch up again from a recruiting standpoint where everybody else is, so that we can create those spaces.
And finally, to make it somewhat simple for our viewers who know Houston Gym, it's basically what's on the bottom could be on top, and what's on the top could be on the bottom now, if we look at it that way. What about the trainers' facilities? We have a trainer facility here and then a rehab facility down the end. The actual trainers' facilities in the sports arena. Is the architect looking to close that gap and put those two together?
Yes, Tom. The flow of the building is one of the major problems right now.
Right.
As a student athlete, you really want to come down, get your clothes, and then maybe the training room, and then the locker room, and out on the field. And right now, you have to, they're minutes apart.
Correct.
So they want to try to get it so that flows. And our new training room, which will be a combination, so that we have the rehab and the training or taping area in one big room. And it'll be right in Houston Gym on the first floor, kind of in the central part. So whether you're using the Houston Gym or the sports arena, it's central.
Well, it is an exciting project, and we're all looking forward to it in the athletics department, and those who remember Houston Gym should be looking forward to it too. So, Jerry, thanks very much for coming on board and talking about the renovation. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go in the classroom and talk to Kathryn Boughton. We're going into the classroom now, but we're still talking soccer, women's soccer, and classroom. Kathryn Boughton is on board. Kathryn is a women's soccer player, a 3-year player for us, all-conference player. But more importantly, Kathryn is the winner of the Chancellors Award, and she represents athletics, and we're very proud of her. The Chancellors Award, I'm going to read this, is the highest honor bestowed upon any SUNY student. And it really integrates academic excellence with achievement in other areas, such as athletics. And first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
It is a high honor. I can't speak high enough. I think we've had 3 or 4 in the history of athletics, and you are the latest comer. So I'm interested in a 4.0, first of all. Does that start as a goal out of high school? Because I'm assuming you're probably doing well in high school and you say, okay, I get a 4.0 in college, or is this something that has evolved over the years?
Well, coming out of high school, I was a good student, but looking back 4 years ago, I would have never predicted that I would have a 4.0. I was just striving for possibly even a 3.0, 3.5.
Okay.
But going into my first semester of college, coming out with a 4.0, it was like, oh, wow, I can do this. Let's try to keep it up. But moving on and continuing to get A's, I just worked for it.
Well, so let me continue with that then, Kathryn. So you get all A's in your second semester. You get all A's again, and then does it become a competition? I mean, you are an athlete. You're a competitive person by nature. Is it a competition, or is it something? Well, if I can do it, I can do it. Or is it like, geez, I gotta do this?
I think it became more like, I gotta do this. I can do this, so I'm gonna do this.
Fantastic. Did you sense pressure on yourself though when you got into especially your upper level courses, maybe sophomore, junior, senior year?
I think more towards my senior year, going through this year, it was like, this is the end. Like, don't blow it now. Exactly, but you just kind of take that pressure and make it drive you as well.
Right. I must tell the viewers an interesting story, because you were in one of my classes in public speaking, and I thought, oh my gosh, the pressure's on me, because you were rather shy and reserved in class, and in that class you have to really kind of come out and almost stage it and be an actress. And I thought, how am I going to give her an A? She might ruin her 4.0, and yet you accomplished it beautifully, and obviously got an A in my class too, so congratulations. But your major is in applied mathematics.
Yes.
What is applied mathematics?
Well, there's actually 2 different separate sections of math here at Buff State. You can have pure mathematics, which is more theory, proofs. You have this theorem, this is how you prove it. Or you can do applied mathematics, which is really using the mathematics in real world situations.
Okay. Give me an example if you can.
An example. Well, since statistics has been my favorite, more like using the theorems and saying most of the time women have higher IQs than men, and then proving that if that's true most of the time.
And is that true, Kathryn, by the way?
Actually, in my test, it wasn't proven to be true.
Oh, how about that? Whew, thank goodness. Applied mathematics, I'm always interested. I have a daughter going to college who's kind of like, well, I don't really know. When did you know that, boy, that math is something cool to me, something that I want to continue on?
Well, I've always loved math and never knew you could do really anything except for be a math teacher.
Okay.
I get that a lot. What are you going to do, teach? No. I actually went through the Career Development Center here on campus. And they gave me a lot of options. I took placement tests, what I would be happy doing, and realized there's a lot more I can do with math, and further looked into those options and decided this is what I'm going to go for.
That is an amazing story. And in order to get the 4.0 and play soccer, there's only so much time in the day. I mean, and you don't get a 4.0 by not studying. You're studying. How does one do that? It comes underneath this umbrella called time management. How did you manage your time?
Yes, well, time management definitely played a big role. And I think actually being on a schedule for soccer added to my ability to manage my time, because you have this time set aside for soccer, so you have to find the time that you're going to work on your studies. So if you know during this time I have to do my work, I have to get it done because I want to go enjoy my soccer and not be stressed out and thinking about it during soccer, then I'm going to get my work done so I can do that.
So actually an added workload helps you in this sense. Instead of, well, I got a couple hours, I could just maybe get a cup of coffee. Now you're kind of forced to study at this particular time. So Kathryn, thanks so much for coming on board, and we're very proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go back outside and talk women's lacrosse. Stay with us. Don't forget, everybody, the Bangle Club Golf Classic is rapidly approaching. It's on Monday, June 6th, and we're moving it over to the beautiful Briarwood Country Club. Golfers are $175 for a single player, obviously $700 for a foursome, and all monies go to benefit the student athletes here at Buffalo State and their program. So if you do want to register, visit our website, or you can call me directly at 878-6514, and I'll make sure I sign you up for the Bangle Club Golf Classic, June 6th at Briarwood. We are now joined by Meg Stevens and Ashley O'Brien from women's lacrosse. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Had a game yesterday against Brockport. Interesting game. You got off. They scored the first goal. Interesting. And then all of a sudden it was all Buff State. I think you went on an 18-1 run to finish them off. That got you to 11-4, 6-1 in the conference. Tell me a little bit about that game and maybe the challenges of coaching in a game like that, knowing the season's coming to an end, and it was kind of the route was on in the first half.
It was interesting. We didn't know quite what to expect. The game wasn't at all what I had expected or planned on going in. However, what we've told our team all year is when you play well, good things will happen for you. It's not as much based on other teams as it's based on us. We executed yesterday. We executed for one of the first times this season. We're really kind of hitting our high points here at the end of the season. And I don't think we necessarily saw the best out of Brockport. They had a little bit of an off day, and I think we, that's okay, but now it's over, and celebrate yesterday and
Well, it's interesting what you said about execution. I think the program itself, overall, over the years now, is to the point where it's not so much worrying about what the other team is going to do. Sure, you scout and do that. But I think the program is so good right now that if you execute, you'll be fine. Do you kind of sense that too? Is that going into these games?
It is, and that's we said a lot this year. Is we're not talking about other teams. We're just talking about us, and what is it going to do for us to play well? And in those games we lost early this year, what a great learning lesson for us. But we also knew we didn't play well. It wasn't as much about the other teams as it was about us.
Okay.
So the fact that we are starting to come into our own this past weekend with Geneseo and Potsdam, yesterday's game, and trying to hit our stride here at the right time, that makes a big difference.
Well, that leads me into my next question. I'm going to ask Ashley this. A senior, a leader on the team. How is the team playing now, going into the final game of the season, and then you look toward the playoffs? Is it headed in the right direction? Are you guys confident as student athletes?
Yeah, I think we're starting to, Coach said, we're hitting that peak right around, the right time. Mm-hmm. We kind of had trouble in the beginning of the season. And even as recently as, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were kind of what's going on? We're not peaking. But right now is the perfect time. We have the tournament, May 5th and 6th, sure, which is exactly, it's perfect timing. Mm-hmm.
I am especially impressed by your team speed. I've seen you a few times now, and it just seemed, tell me if I'm right or wrong here, it just seemed like you just ran past Brockport yesterday. That the team speed, the overall team speed, not just 1 or 2 girls, ladies, but 5, 6, 7 are faster than the opponents. Is that something? Is that true? Is that something you look for in recruiting and the people you bring on board?
It definitely is. You can't teach speed.
No, right.
But the biggest thing is we've got athletes, and that's just a big plus. And we've talked about that's a piece of the game plan. But one of the things that I think we even used yesterday is not truthfully as much game speed and player individual speed, but ball speed.
What do you mean
Yesterday,
by that, ball
we
speed?
moved the ball.
Passing faster, getting the ball
extremely
upfield?
quickly.
Okay.
And you just,
And sharper. Your passing is sharper, faster, harder.
I've always done it basics win games. I am not, I think a lot of people get really, really fancy, and I'm basics. Have better stick work, be in good shape,
Right.
and have a great group of girls.
Right.
And it's probably going to be a good outcome.
It's interesting you say that, the ball speed, because I did notice that in yesterday's game. That, and I go back to before you took over, and this is just the state of the program now. And I see where it used to be like a floating type pass. Now it's boom, and it's and I'm not saying all the right verbiage when it comes to the cross, and they catch it. It's like whoa, and then the speed takes over. So it's very interesting to see the evolution of the program. Let me ask you what I asked Ashley though: the state of this team now. You had kind of casually mentioned it. Is it where you want it to be moving into the playoffs? Are you liking what you're seeing right now? What impresses you most about your team?
I'm impressed that we're relatively young. We've only got 3 seniors on the team, and the fact that we've got great leadership, and they're finally learning and finally just kind of settling into themselves a little bit. We've got a lot of youngsters that we had talked to early in the season that you're going to be a difference maker, and they're starting to step up into those roles where you didn't see that early in the year. And the big thing now is it's talking less and less. Right now, there's 1 game left. You've got to worry about New Paltz. It's 1 game at a time. We're trying to take things just in a very, very step-by-step basis right now.
And what in the last week and a half are you looking to work on, Coach, as you move into the playoffs? What do you think you need to tweak a little bit?
There's always things to work on. There's always ways in which to get better, and we will see Brockport again. She's a great coach. That's a great program, and we're going to have to prepare very well for it, mentally and physically. So we'll have quite a bit to do.
We'll talk about Brockport in a minute, but back to you, Obi. You're a curious person to watch, and hopefully that's the right word, because you do some interesting things. You're a goaltender, but you do some interesting things. We had talked off air, whether they were superstitious things or it was just out of habit that you've created. You do something with the goalpost and then the crossbar, and then you tap the ground. What is all that? Where did that come from, and why do you do that?
Well, I actually don't know when it started. I think probably early high school.
Okay.
And whenever I would get excited about our team scoring, I'd want to do something about it. So I'd run up and jump and hit the crossbar, and then it kind of just like developed from there. Like I just started adding more things, and like at this point, like I can't really add anything else because there's no time. Like I hit the 8 meter, which is like our penalty shot
on the field, right?
Right. Hit the 8 meter as I'm running by. And then I jump up, hit the crossbar, I go left, right, and then I swing the stick over, put it on my back, then put it back in my hand, and then walk out over the crease.
Crazy.
And like it wasn't like that even my freshman year. Like it was just the hop.
These goaltenders are, I'm a goaltender, I shouldn't say, a little strange out there anyways. You're a senior. You've been with the program for a number of years now. I'm always interested. What will you take away from your experience at Buffalo State, whether that's on the field or off the field?
Well, senior year is pretty bittersweet, and
Sure.
I think about it all the time. Like how much I'm gonna miss the sport, and we have to do these not have to, but we do these senior letters, and we read them to the team every year. And after I went through and made my senior letter, I kind of realized that it's a lot less about the actual sport than it is about the people. And I think what I'm gonna take away most is like the friendships I made on the team, and how much. If you had seen me before I played lacrosse, you would realize that lacrosse has been a really good thing for me.
That's great.
Because, I was pretty shy. I was pretty strange.
You?
It's hard to imagine how weird I was before. But, playing lacrosse and being with all these girls has really made me into like a better person.
And that's what being a student athlete is all about, really, in the bottom line sense. Ladies, we move into the playoffs in a week and a half or so. We've got a minute left. Brockport is the first round matchup. Interesting because you had just played them. But with less than a minute left, let's think we're going to move on to the final and play Cortland. Let's just say if that happens. In 30 seconds or less, what has to happen from the first time we played Cortland at home and lost by a couple of goals to the playoffs now?
You're going to be angry with me.
Okay.
But I won't talk about Cortland.
Okay.
We've got Brockport.
Right.
We'll have Brockport on day 1, and you don't talk about day 2 until you get through day 1.
Then let's talk about Brockport. You just played them. Is it difficult coaching to play a team that you just played and beat them like you did?
She's a great coach and a great team. I think we'll see new things out of them. We talked about it right after the game yesterday. We'll come in mentally focused.
Well, ladies, thanks very much for being on, and best of luck to you in the playoffs. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Bangle Magazine. Guess what? We're back in 1 week with a new Bangle Magazine. See you then.